Gang, 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 gang. Down amongst the forest of hate, the elves play with the blood of the night. You're like German fucking death porn.
Always German.
Death something.
I'm keeping your little ditty at the beginning. I hit record and then you went dun 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 dun. We're keeping that.
Good.
Why not?
Hey, Andy.
Welcome.
One quick question.
Hey, Nick. What's your question? Here we are.
Will you be my Valentine?
Yes.
Thank you. God, I was so nervous to ask.
1,000 times, yes.
I was so
You probably asked me last year.
No, I didn't. I was probably too drunk to remember.
We've done so many. This is episode 135 of Slash U.
I'm so glad you keep up with those. If someone said, Nick, what episode? I'd be like, fucking 260.
Season 8.
Season 8, episode 135. This one's for the lovers out there.
Yeah.
Andy and I really wanted to bring a flick into the classroom that expressed love.
You're going to be, this releases on February 12th. So yeah, you might listen day one, or you might be a little delayed listener. It's okay. It's cool. Wednesday the 14th is Lover's Day.
Yes.
So,
where you
enjoy.
get to grab partner's boob and you get to have some laughs.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here today. I'm going to go ahead and bust out, Andy. This is not a typical Slash U movie.
I agree.
It's a unique approach to Slash U, Valentine's Day classroom.
Yeah.
Valentine's Day meets, I don't know, like
road trip. I don't know. Bonnie and Clyde.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. I got it. This movie, I didn't even write it down, but this is it.
Go.
This movie, Andy, is like if Punk'd and Romeo and Juliet were a film. Do you get it? Punk'd. Like if Ashton Kutcher from Punk'd decided to direct Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
Because it's a love story, but someone gets punked.
That's true. Yeah. We're talking about 2012, 1 hour, 28 minutes.
Sightseers.
Yeah. A British comedy. Dark comedy.
The British do pretty well at this. This one with the executive producer, Fish and Chips. He was the one behind, the executive producer was behind Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, those two homies.
No kidding.
Yeah, so.
I didn't know that.
You get that vibe kind of right away with it. It is a dark comedy.
Yeah. Directed by Ben Wheatley.
Yeah.
Wheatley.
Wheatley, mate.
Wheatley. And you're right. There's some creative, dry British humor.
There is, and it's definitely got some fun moments to it.
Cool
but
kills.
I feel, good call, but not a typical horror slasher that you think of. Maybe a suspense. Yeah. I think it's perfect for us for Valentine's Day because it's not, we've done all the Valentine's Day, the bluff, the, whatever. This is rad because I feel like this one's going to make us a little all cinephile too. Because it's not really a slasher, but it's a great story. So I feel like I'm going to put on my cinephile glasses.
And there's probably deeper layers that you can examine between both these people in this movie. And
because I've got some things I want to pull up. I'm going to put on my cinephile yoga pants.
I'm going to put on my cinephile jockstrap.
And we're going to get to it.
We're going to get to it.
Andy, there's really not a lot to this movie per se.
Oh,
no. All cinephiles say per se. You have to say it.
Yeah, per se.
So, not a lot going on in this movie per se, but I wish there was, we're going to get into characters, but I wish, again, there was a backstory to one of our stars, Chris.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I wish that we...
I suppose.
We'll get to this
Where
very
he came
soon,
from,
but...
who he is, what he did.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to...
He's a writer. He claims to be a writer.
Claims to be.
Yeah. He has a notebook. Yeah,
yeah, anybody can carry a notebook.
I know. I often have one with me. Not today.
Just to make you look cool when you're like in a coffee shop. Like, hey, did you notice my notebook?
Check it out.
Did you see my laptop and me typing on it?
My notebook's just
writing the next
drawings of dicks.
I'm not writing a screenplay. I'm drawing dicks.
I'm just drawing all kinds of dicks.
I'm using AI to draw dicks. Hey, how about some of those Slash U logos?
You've been experimenting
Yes.
with artificial intelligence.
It was funny because our homies at Extreme Horror Replay, I'd realized that the one that we did with the I didn't realize that they did. They're like, looks familiar. I was like, oh shit, it looks like your logo.
Oh.
Like with the two faces and one microphone.
Yep.
Theirs is more zombified, but I think an AI was like, give one a beard and one a bald head. So.
How many variations on two people and a microphone can you have, though, honestly?
Yeah.
Like, eventually, it's going to start to repeat. Like, the directors who've commented on other directors' slasher movies, like, oh, I think I made this movie before. Like, the guy who made Totally Killer, and someone else is like, I think I made that already.
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's a slasher. They repeat eventually. Sorry. I mean, the same's true for podcast logos where there's two people hosting. Eventually, it's just going to wind up two faces and a microphone.
There was some cool ones though, like that came out. And I'm not trying to the logo that we have is fucking rad.
I love our logo.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the only thing I'm saying is it was just kind of fun to kind of upbeat one to kind of show like, hey, we're always thinking.
Oh,
We try to get moving. Like, we've been doing this almost 4 years. It's like, okay, let's branch away from 12 listeners. Let's try to get up to like 25 listeners.
Yeah.
And but then things start coming up. Like Murder Cabin's going to be yeah, and then Murder Cabin, that's gonna that'll probably put us on hold. I mean, that's gonna.
It's okay. Maybe use some vacation time and put it into the podcast.
That's what I want to do as well. We're gonna have a episode dedicated just to Murder Cabin. It's not gonna be a long one, but since I'll get Brian on here, who's gonna be the man behind the lens, I'll get you in here because you're playing the father, one of the main characters. So gonna be fun. But let's go ahead and get into Sightseers with Andy's Cliff Kill notes. Brought to you by Cuddles. If you want a cool pet name for your partner or just want to get warm at night, why don't you get some Cuddles? And now, Andy Damos is so relevant. Cliff Kill little notes.
Thank you. What's the difference between a cuddle and a snuggle?
Cuddle, snuggle is where you kiss the back of their neck while you do it. Cuddle is no kissing.
Oh, so you're assuming a spooning position.
Yes, and both. But snuggle is you're licking them or kissing them.
Got it. Licking or kissing.
Or spitting on them.
It keeps, you keep adding
fluids.
to it. Nice.
You pee on them, it's technically a snuggle.
The Cliff Kill notes, brief summary of the movie, so you can follow along in case you haven't watched it. But go watch it. It's on the Roku channel. It's on Tubi and Amazon, and it's free. I liked it. Chris and Tina are a cute couple in love. Great backdrop for our Valentine's Day episode. They've embarked on a caravan tour of the countryside of England. Caravan is what people in England call a camper or an RV trailer here in the States.
Yes.
Chris is an aspiring writer, quote unquote, and Tina is his muse. As the two begin their holiday, they have an unfortunate accident and a bystander ends up dead. And the couple quickly realize it might be easier to deal with the problem people in their lives simply by killing them. And hilarity ensues.
Hilarity does ensue. Some British hilarity.
Some British hilarity.
Was it Slaughter High, the Marty guy? It was just Slaughter High, right?
Yeah.
That was like one of our first 20, I think. Anyway, that was supposedly American, but it was definitely British.
You could tell they were trying to hide their accents. Yeah,
they were like, we like hamburgers.
Cheeseburgers.
But then Stitches, of course.
The clown, yep.
Unmasked 25 and a half or something.
Yep. Unmasked part 25.
Yeah, there you go. British.
Yep.
They have, I think that they should be celebrated more for slashers.
Mm-hmm. They do all right.
This one isn't. Got some great kills, but it doesn't fall in that genre. So, like, Jody didn't dig it.
Oh, Cheryl thought it was all right.
Yeah, Jody was like, eh.
Cheryl thought Tina was annoying.
Yeah, see, this is the thing. Like, it's that idea that couples, Bonnie and Clyde-ish, but my pants started growing with Tina more. Like those crocheted, she crocheted some lingerie, and I feel like they both started getting sexier, him and Chris.
Yeah.
I'd hopped in a threesome with them. At the very end, they started getting like, it seems like the killing and all this
turns them on.
Yeah, it makes them hot.
Oh, well, that's some cinephile ammo for you. What is it? Yeah. We need to get a psychiatrist in here someday.
No. Oh, shit.
They start analyzing you and me.
They're like,
stick to the movie, doctor.
What happened with yoga pants when you were a child?
Yeah, Nick, why do you keep bringing up ejaculate all the time? That's what they would say.
I don't know what I know.
I've often wondered the same thing.
Shit.
Hey, listen. I got problems too. It's fine. So
Well, this is interesting. Before we dive in, I think this would. I don't understand why a sequel didn't come out. I thought that this would have been a great opportunity for a sequel.
Oh, really?
Of course, we'll get to that. Yes.
the way it ends?
Yes. We'll get to that definitely. But
you're probably right. I could see where you're going with that.
let's just get right into the opening before they show the credits.
Yeah.
It's just really kind of a map with thumbtacks and a travel route, as they say in England. Route.
Somebody's planning a trip, right?
Yeah, and you can hear someone in agony. At first, I thought it was someone getting boned, but
Oh, I said a woman is wailing and not on a ship looking for whales. He's wailing.
I thought someone was getting pegged.
Oh, wow. Graphic.
Like that was like, what a way to start a movie.
Whoa.
But we also see pictures of a small terrier dog.
Oh, cutie dog.
Yeah, cutie dog.
Poppy.
And Poppy, and which we learn later is Poppy. But it's as the camera pans out, Andy, that wailing is not someone getting pegged or someone with a spear in a Japanese sea. It is a angry mother or a distraught mother. I should
Carol.
say. Carol. There you
This
go.
is Tina's mom. She's despondent over the loss of her dog, Poppy. I'm just remembering Poppy.
Oh, but I also think too she's bummed because Tina is preparing to leave
Mm-hmm.
on holiday.
Right. Tina's going away with her boyfriend. Carol blames her for Poppy's death, though.
Yeah, calls
saying-
her. Later.
Yeah, she's going away out of guilt.
Yes.
Yeah, you're guilty for what she done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it seems like also, Andy, I noticed that their relationship, this is my cinephile yoga pants that are starting to, absorb into my body. I feel like they have a relationship that Tina's kind of awkward, Chris is awkward, awkwardness meets, they fall in love.
Yeah.
But I believe that Carol depended on her mom and
Tina
depended on her mom. Carol depended on Tina. Like they had a relationship, but now Tina's
going
leaving
off on her own, yeah.
and Poppy's dead.
Yeah,
the
so-
dog. So
Poor Carol's just
Yep,
like,
there you go.
"Ooh." And she's, the mom, Carol, is really mean to Chris and Tina. Doesn't like Chris at all.
doesn't trust him.
Doesn't trust him. Are you sure you got to go away with him? I've heard terrible things happen to people in caravans and all that jazz.
Yeah.
But Tina even says, like, I'm 34 years old, and I love him, and I'm going with him. You're like, I got to get out of here, that sort of thing. So it's obvious that Chris and Tina are in love.
Yeah, and they're both like awkward because they even bring up like when they're, they scoot away from Carol, Tina and Chris go to her room because they still live together, Tina and Carol.
Yes.
And, they start making out, and you can tell they're both they're awkward, Andy, and they're about to take this trip in Chris's caravan. I got a question for you. They haven't been dating long.
3
Do you think
months.
it's a good idea? Right on, great call. 3 months. You're dating someone 3 months.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it's a good idea to take them on a caravan trip?
Well, I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. It's almost like a weekend away.
They
together,
say a week, but
it's longer than a weekend.
yes, if they say a week, we're going to be on the road for a week.
Yeah.
But I always wonder,
90 days, 3 months.
maybe it's taken to the Subway that's usually in a Walmart. That would be a good 3-month date.
The Subway restaurant
Yeah,
in a Walmart?
yeah.
My brain pictured an underground train in the Walmart. No, the restaurant, Subway. Eat fresh. Fresh, question in quotes.
I mean, instead of a great holiday for a week, let's go get a 6-inch and a bag of Lay's,
Yeah.
and then maybe we could go look around Walmart.
I mean, 3 months in, I can understand a weekend getaway. Leaving on a Friday after work, coming home on Sunday. That makes sense to me. But a full week, you gotta know it's right and get into it. I mean, she's 34. Chris is probably same age or a little older.
A little older,
And so maybe they know.
I feel like
They're not in
this
their
is
20s.
Yeah, and I feel like this is the first they could tell serious relationship because she even admits to him I didn't really bring anyone back to my bedroom, and you with your ginger hair, I bet you're an
Yeah.
awkward little fuck, and
And
he's
he
like,
said,
yeah.
I wish I was invisible. And she's like, yeah, but you're a ginger. And he's like, yeah, so I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean,
do ginger kids in England get picked on? Is that a thing?
I guess it's everywhere. I don't know. I
don't
would think,
remember
but in
picking on ginger
Ireland,
kids.
I mean, ginger is Ireland. I mean,
So is it like an Irish English, like
oh, maybe
occupation
I don't
type
know.
thing? Are we
But-
stepping on some political nest here?
Yeah,
kicking a
maybe
hornet's
that's how
nest.
it started.
Yeah, so that's why
Fucking fight.
so the gingers in England, they're looked down upon.
Yeah,
They're members of the IRA or whatever.
totally. That's it.
I'm sorry. Wow.
But and then it crossed the pond over here, so everyone's
Right.
like, "Oh, you're a gingy."
Yeah, and South Park did the whole episode about how gingers don't have souls.
But do you? Yeah, I mean, but I still think red hair and pale skin is fucking rad,
Well,
guy or girl.
I dated a ginger, and I can vouch for the no soul thing.
Oh, what if
Mic
she's-
drop, sick burn.
What if she's listening right now and she's crying?
Cool. Okay.
Poor. What was her name?
Nope. We're not going to go that far.
Okay.
But yeah. Anyway.
So anyway,
that's old news.
Yeah, let's not dwell on that one.
They're getting ready to leave.
Yeah, show me your world, Chris.
Right.
And, but before they leave, Carol does get a couple jabs in. She gets to tell Chris that I don't like you.
Yeah.
I don't trust you. And she gets to call
Tina,
her daughter, a murderer. And Tina looks at her mom and goes, "Mom, it was an accident, just like you."
Yeah.
That's a sick burn.
Yeah.
That's a sick burn, dude.
Yeah. So Carol blames poor Tina for the death of Poppy, and that's what, as they drive away, we get our title card, Sightseers,
with Tainted Love playing.
Tainted Love as they drive.
Yeah. Give you all the boy can give you.
Yep.
Okay, Nick, we get it. We know the song. Don't sing it, dick.
Really, just get a montage of them driving, and Carol back at home sitting alone.
Yeah, she's in a sling. I think it's note that we need to note that Carol, she's in a sling. Yeah. She hurt her arm.
I guess
because she does that. She tries to use that emergency card, like "Don't leave me, I'm hurt."
Yeah,
you killed my dog. Yada yada yada. So,
but it was a year ago. The dog died a year ago.
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know why she's in a sling, but she's trying to use that to say, "I need you here."
She's a mom that lays a guilt trip on her daughter at every opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we can dive into the psychology of that, but I don't want to.
No, I don't either. But that's why I said in the beginning of this podcast that I feel like they're sitting there together. Mm-hmm. You know, they need each other, and now Tina's found the love in Chris. So they make their first step at destination. Andy, it looks like they're into history. It's a tramway.
Yeah, it's like a museum about trams.
Yeah, that connect, like double-decker trams that are connected to cables. I mean, it's a tram car.
And there's a cool tour where they're sitting on a tram car, and the conductor or the tour guide is talking to them about the history of these types of trams in jolly old England. And
yeah, it's Reed.
Some guy up near the front,
big boy,
he unwraps an ice cream cone.
Yep.
And throws the wrapper on the floor of the tram.
Litterbug.
And Chris is like, "Excuse me, sir, you dropped your wrapper." And the guy ignores him, and Chris just doesn't think he heard him, so he's just like, "Your wrapper, you dropped your wrapper."
Yep.
And the guy turns around and looks at him, and then turns back, and Chris is like, "What?" He goes, "You dropped your wrapper," and the guy just holds up his middle finger.
Doesn't even say a word.
Doesn't even turn around again.
Yeah, just flips him off.
And
Andy, this
makes him really mad.
Bothers him the rest of the day, brother.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and as this is continuing, as the day continues, Andy, and it's bothering Chris, like, even Tina's like, "Don't let it ruin your vacation. Yeah. Don't let it ruin your holiday, Chris."
Do you think we're going to use the accents every time we quote them?
If we do, who cares?
Yeah, I guess we could do it.
We do this for ourselves.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. Fish and chips. I mean, who's going to care?
The fact that you just sprinkle in fish and chips. Like every English person has fish and chips Tourette's, where they're just talking, they're speaking and they're talking to their mom, fish and chips, and they just randomly, it's like a tick that they have, fish and chips. Oh my God.
Oh shit.
You just got to remind people that I'm referring to England, fish and chips. Right? Is that why you say it? It's just like, I'm not doing a Japanese accent, fish and chips, right? We could just keep going.
Oh God, please stop.
You gonna pee your pants? Or?
Oh shit. I don't even think about it, but you put in terms that does make sense now.
I'm picking apart why you're doing it. But anyway, Chris is venting. It's still at the museum. He's just really mad about the guy littering, going on about how it's disrespectful for the tram company.
Yeah, the big guy, and as we get kind of flashes, the guy is still walking the tramway, continue to litter.
Yeah, they see him again, throw something else on the ground.
He doesn't give a fuck.
There's a page over the PA system for Tina. Her mom is on the phone for her.
Yeah.
How did her mom know where she was? Did they leave the map at the home?
I think they were building the map at the house, so
okay.
Of course I would assume that she told her.
She probably told her mom, here's the numbers of the places where we're going to be.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Well, she's on the phone with her mom briefly, and it seems like maybe she might be going home because she comes out after hanging up the phone, embraces Chris, and she starts crying, of course, and they end up getting the car, and the car, of course, has the trailer, the RV, the camper, the caravan hitched up in the back. And he backs up right over the man who littered.
Yeah, he sees him in his rearview mirror and violently puts it in reverse and violently hits the man.
And runs him over.
Great slow motion. I want to bring this up. It's really cool slow-mo. Everyone jumps out of they jump out of their car. Mm-hmm. The car's pulling the caravan. They run. Tina's screaming. Chris grabs her, tries to cover her eyes. His family's running up. Let's go of a balloon. Like, it's really cool.
Looks like a wife and son.
Yeah.
Or like, Dad.
Yeah.
You know? No.
Yeah, and it's like, it's really cool because you get that, like, as it's finally starting to fade to black,
Yeah.
you get that Chris smirk.
They look at Chris and he
kind of just the camera focus on Chris and he kind of puts because Andy, he did it on purpose. He did not do this. It was
not an accident.
Great way to claim it was an accident though when he goes to the cops or the police or the
Bobbies.
Bobbies, thank you. Yeah. I was wondering what the word was.
Well, it says police on the door.
Yeah, but it is a cool kill. There's blood coming out of the neck, and Chris puts on a great facade.
Face,
I
just feel so bad for his family.
Yeah, fish and chips.
Are we doing dick shot kills?
No, I don't. I mean, I didn't.
I didn't really pick one.
I didn't either because there's really. I mean, the kill count's going to be rather simple. I think.
If I get to one I really like, I might claim it, but there's a few.
Yeah, this is. But this was just really. It kind of sets the story. You're like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
The trip continues. And, you know, they want to push that negative mood away, so they decide to get their swerve on.
Well, Tina just says, you know what? Fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm not going home.
Yeah.
Mint me. They have a bag of mints in the car.
Yeah,
she opens her mouth. She's like, mint me. Put a mint in my mouth. And, they pull over, and they have rocking sex in the camper.
Next to a roadside cafe, and I guess that cafe has got a lot of voyeurs.
There's, like, some dudes hanging out.
Yeah, the cafe, and this trailer's a knocking.
They pull over right there. They didn't even try to find somewhere private. They just pulled over. Let's get it on right now. And they jump into the back of the camper and go. And yeah, there's like guys outside the camper trying to see in because they could just hear, and they see
the
thing's rocking.
Yeah, if it's a rocking, don't come a knocking, as they say back in the day. I dig this though, because this is when Tina, I think, is in a better mood. She writes her mom
postcard.
Chris is a great lover.
I'm not coming home. Chris is a great lover. I like that duck. I ain't coming home. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. He's got chips for my fish.
Gross. You son of a bitch. He got me.
He's got chips
for my fish.
It really does set the it really does set the story. They're on their way. They make it to a camp and
right.
Most campsites, even in the UK, even here, you get certain spots.
Yes.
So they're racing for a spot.
I think that there was only like two kinds of spots left. Like
one was in the Dingy Dell, and one was next to the loo.
Right. One's named. Yeah. They didn't want to be in the one next to the bathroom.
Yeah. So they beeline. I thought there was like if someone did that to me, like if someone jerked around me, I would go out. I would say I'm going to remember that. I'm going to go say something to him, which I thought was kind of odd that didn't happen. But they do aggressively pass this car to get to a camping spot, Andy, called the Dingy Dell. And when first thing they do when they arrive there, though, have to clean off the blood.
Yeah,
it's kind of bumming out Tina from where they killed the good guy.
He's got to get his cleaner out spray. Tina struggles to plug in the electricity. I thought that was weird, too.
I did, too.
She's like dumb.
She's asking, like, why do we need to do this? I thought it was going to be like a big light that says, I love you. I'm so glad we're camping. But
nope.
He was just like, you'll see why. It's like, don't you fucking know what electricity is?
This is going to power the whole thing for us. And you plug it in right here.
And it's like really hard for her?
Yeah, she was struggling.
Maybe she does. Maybe she's on the spectrum.
Ooh. Maybe we really can't pick on her.
No, not anymore.
I'm gonna. Cheryl just hated her at this part. Cheryl's like, this lady's dumb. She's pissing me off. So, and I'll tell you later, Cheryl also had some more thoughts about it. But, yeah. Anyway.
They're back. They're enjoying. They're in a nice campsite. They're enjoying themselves, looking around the site, and they're serving pasta. This is when Chris says, "Hey, I got other alternatives for this trip. I'm going to write a book, and I need you to be my muse." And Tina just loves. I'm gonna be a muse. That is fucking awesome. Oh, that is fucking brilliant.
They did. I thought there was an interesting piece of dialogue here. Might have been right after he cleaned the blood off the wheel. She's kind of freaked out and says she's gonna have nightmares. And he just says, "There's lots of stuff underneath a caravan that'll kill you." And she said something about being worried. I wouldn't like to go that way. And he just said, like, you would never get killed underneath a caravan. You'd be in the car with me. He said that to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought that was interesting. You'll be in the car with me. Because they're gonna start killing people together.
Yeah, what's that like? What was that name? That movie with Julian Lewis and Marty or Woody from Cheers, where they go
Woody
around,
Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis, and they kind of go around and start killing everybody.
Oh, well, I don't know. Is it called Sightseers?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
God, people are going to get so... Well, all 4 listeners know what I'm talking about. They go around killing people.
Oh.
Juliette Lewis and Woody Harrelson. It's. I don't want to say it's a Tarantino film. God damn it!
I don't think it is.
It's going to be the death of me, because I know that it's a film, and everyone. I mean, it even made the news because it was like really crazy, and they were like, "I love you," and they just go on a murderous spree, and they kind of go crazy.
Natural Born Killers.
There you go. Thank you. God damn it! People are probably gonna. I can see people yelling at whatever device they're listening to.
2 victims of traumatized childhoods become lovers and psychopathic serial murderers, irresponsibly glorified by the mass media.
They're kind of like
never seen it.
They're kind of like a, it was kind of just like the fucking, 1990s fucking Bonnie and Clyde, listen to Sugar Ray and fucking,
kill.
Hear of a thing called cell phones.
Well, this is a little more wholesome than that. So
yeah, it looks like they're camping next to some hippies too, Andy.
Yeah,
they're playing some drums, eating some shrooms. Guys. Yeah, they're listening to a lot of Fish. It actually is just a festival they're having. I don't really know what the purpose of this is. I mean, I thought they're going to, because I was thinking, they're going to play drums all night. Chris is going to go over there and kill them, but nothing really happens except that it's tribal music, tribal drums playing.
Yep,
and.
They just hike around a little bit, play on the playground.
Explore. Yeah, they're just looking around where they're hanging out. That's very little montage.
Chris goes to use the bathroom. When he walks out, I thought that was funny. There's a sign on the wall. If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down.
Yeah.
And he comes upon a couple unpacking with a different camper. It's the people that he cut off.
I think that's who it is, because it's Ian and Janice.
Janice
is pissed. Why we got to fucking camp next to the loo?
Next to the bathroom. What's happening here? And Chris strikes up a conversation with them about the camper. Oh, you sprung for the Model 360, whatever the fuck. He's a caravan expert. I've got me a Winnebago over here. And now I'm Australian. So
strip on the Barbie. Come on over.
Kangaroo Jack and Crocodile Dundee.
The Irwins.
I don't know. But he talks to them about their camper, and he has to see the inside. Tina comes up as well. He has to see the inside, but they make him. This is Ian, like you said. Ian and Janice are a little
persnickety.
Perfect.
I wrote that.
Love the adjective. That's great.
Yeah.
They want to take off your shoes first, because I just saw you come out of the bathroom over there.
Yeah, and they also have a dog in their trailer that's very similar to who Poppy was.
Yeah, Tina and Carol's
Tina just
dead dog.
fixates on it. This is Banjo.
Banjo.
Fucking Tina's like, here's a fucking fish and chip. Gives him one, and Janice flips out. We don't feed our fucking dogs junk.
We get a flashback of how Poppy died.
Yeah,
1 year earlier. Is that important?
Well, I mean, she was trying to donate.
She was knitting
because she's a crocheter.
She knits, and she sets her knitting needles down when someone's at the door, points up.
Yep.
Like, why? Anyway, not in the name of safety, that's for sure. So she sets her knitting needles down with the points sticking right up next to her on the couch, answers the door. At the time, Poppy was jumping around being a dog, excited that someone was at the door, and Tina distracted Poppy with a little squeaky toy and threw it into the living room, and Poppy went and jumped up onto the couch to catch the toy and jumped right on the knitting needles and stabbed and died.
Yeah.
And her mom, Carol, freaked out, and that was a year ago, and here we are.
It was a beloved dog for Carol, not only Carol, but Tina as well.
Did you know Tina is also an animal psychologist? Did you notice that? Earlier in the movie, they were in her bedroom. She has like degrees on the wall in like animal psychology and dog behavioral specialists. Like, so Tina's profession is working with dogs. Animals.
Wow.
You didn't notice that?
I mean, they should have. Okay.
The camera hung on like her degree.
I mean, but it still should have been talked about more, because I mean, you could have been looking down, you could have been taking a bite of your veggie burger. Like, you could have,
could have been surfing Insta. Who knows?
I mean, seriously.
You missed it, but it was there. So Tina also has
putting up shots on /U OnlyFans.
Tina's got close ties to dogs in general, but essentially we just get that quick backstory of how Poppy died. But yes, we're back in the present. Banjo, she tries to feed Banjo a chip, or a crisp, or whatever they call it in England, and the Ian and Janice freak out. We don't feed him junk.
Yeah, so basically it is, you could tell these two couples really aren't getting along, but as they're leaving, Janice, they're like, what are you guys doing? And Janice like, well, we're here for Ian. He's writing a book. And he's writing a book, Mike.
It's actually his third.
Yeah, it's actually his third.
Yeah.
And this just seems to fucking eat at Chris. And
it really makes him mad.
yeah, and so he's kind of just leering at Ian, and he's like, yeah, I get up at the crack of dawn every morning. And just kind of, take photo, get the creative juices flowing. And it's kind of like, it's Chris hates it because he's struggling with his first, and here's Ian in on his third. It bugs him. Mm-hmm. It keeps him up all night. And even Tina walks in, later that night, she walks in with these, this hot, she crocheted some lingerie.
Yeah, sexy clothes.
Crotchless underwear crocheted and, pubes and stuff. You don't
she
see
crocheted the lingerie.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I mean, how ingenious.
Yeah. And they're crotchless. She made them crotchless.
She's like, I want your,
hey, Chris,
I want your Chris.
Look at me.
Yes.
Look at me, Chris. And he just rolls over and pretends to go to sleep.
The Wiccan vibes permeating from the shaman bonfire. It's just all too much for Chris.
Yeah.
He can't perform next morning.
Next morning, poor Ian is out there on the moors, or whatever you want to call it.
The leads.
Yeah, out in the leads, hiking with Banjo, taking photos with his camera. It's quiet. No one else is around. There's also no trees, so Chris is kind of stalking him, but has to stay low to the ground and hide behind the hills and stuff so that this dude doesn't see him. And he slowly sneaks up on Ian and ends up picking up a rock and bashing him in the head just as the music, Season of the Witch, the song, just as soon as it reaches its crescendo, and he smacks Chris and kills him. And we're also getting flashes back to Janice in their camper making some eggs.
Yeah, I mean, it's just quick backs. And the shamans, masturbating around the bonfire.
Cutting the head off a chicken.
Yeah, that's right. Same thing. It's what you call masturbating.
In the kill count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
I got it.
Hey, I never thought cutting that off a chicken.
Yeah.
What are you doing in that bathroom, son? I'm cutting the head off a chicken.
That's more than
choking the
it.
chicken.
Yeah.
Cutting the head off a chicken.
Ooh, that'd be worse.
That means you're violently fucking masturbating.
Or snipping the tip off your dick. That's what you're doing.
But Chris is kind of smart.
That tip. Ladies and gentlemen, snip that tip.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like a magician act. Opening up for David Blaine in Las Vegas. Snip that tip. And it's like a group magicians. Okay. Anyway, it's what Chris does is
we got
smart.
tickets to snip that tip. Okay.
You mean the guys that open up for David Blaine? They're awesome.
Tangents.
Chris pushes Ian off the rock to make it like a suicide.
Yes.
Smart. The dog runs off though.
Yeah.
Chris gives a little chase, but he's like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Later,
what's the dog gonna do? Tell somebody?
Yeah. Right. Later, Tina finds Chris looking over the fence because something's happening with the shamans.
Yeah.
Looks like they're getting arrested for mutilating chickens.
Yep.
For ritual purposes. Chickens that belong to the landowner who also was the camp.
Owns the campground.
Owns the camp, and he's like, why'd you kill all my chickens?
3.
Yeah, 3 chickens.
Specifically said, and he names the 3 chickens, which I didn't catch, but
yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, 3 deaths there.
Yeah, 3 deaths. Oh, that's true though. But this is a good opportunity for Chris Andy to say, hey, just this sucks. I mean, these shamans, and I don't know, it's bad juju. Let's keep let's go to another campsite. And so as they're leaving, but as they're packing up, they can hear Janice calling for Ian. And as they're getting ready, Andy, to pop in the car, fucking Banjo pops up.
Yeah, the dog.
I was surprised at this scene.
That they took the dog?
Yes, I know that Tina loved him.
Right.
Or really thought hey, I Pulpy.
It was funny. Tina picked Banjo up and he licks her face, and Tina's like, what's that? He says his mom's a mean bitch. Yeah, we better take him.
And they abuse him.
And he says, Chris, can we take him?
So she must have gone to community college.
Chris goes, Chris is like, I don't think that's fair. Yeah. And this is a very profound thing that Tina says, and it speaks to the greater undertones and themes of the movie.
Yes.
Tina looks at Banjo and says, we don't care about being fair, do we? We just care about being happy. Ooh. All
right, cinephile.
I know, right?
That sounded very cinephile.
I got my cinephile glasses on today.
I got my cinephile yoga pants on.
Cinephile jockstrap going.
Speaking of pegging, hey, no, I love how though, as she throws him in the car and she's getting ready, Chris looks at the dog and says, "Say one fucking word."
Chris isn't fond of Banjo.
Yeah, it's cool. Well, I mean, I think he's just kind of like
it reminds him that he killed a man.
Yeah, exactly. Right on. Yeah. He looks at the dog and is like, "Yeah, I killed your dad."
Yeah.
back on the road, Andy, and it looks like they decided to hit some caverns.
Yeah.
Caves. She's Tina's like kind of bugging Chris, like, do you have any inspiration?
You got any inspiration yet, Chris?
Yeah,
Chris.
I wouldn't.
Chris.
I'm not trying to bug you. I wouldn't.
Chris.
I wouldn't shit on you, Chris, unless you wanted me to.
Yep.
I was like, that's pretty rad. I mean, I'm not saying I would want any. I don't have like.
I don't want that.
But I mean, to have a partner that says like, well, wouldn't you know that someone really cared about you if they said, hey, listen,
whatever
I
you
would
want.
never shit on you, but if you asked me to, I would. Mm-hmm. Like, I would never ask anyone.
If that's what gives you your inspiration, Chris, I'll take a big Cleveland steamer on your chest. If you want.
God, I bet it smells
and
like
the show has
fish and
reached
chips.
a new low. But
I mean, she's offering her undying love.
Yeah,
by offering to
super supportive.
Taking a big stealing pooch on his chest.
Right.
So
I just think that the way she says his name over and over again got annoying to me. Chris.
Yeah, we put the subtitles on just so we could make sure we could hear everything because it's probably English.
Yeah. We're getting rid of the kill count. We're gonna do a Chris count.
Yeah.
Oh
shit! Every time she says Chris, you got to drink.
Oof! I've been through three already. Yeah. But they go clothes shopping, real quick.
Yeah, at a local outdoor retail shop. Yeah.
Right. The store clerk asks him, "Have you heard about the guy who died last night?" The news said he seems to have slipped off a rock and died. The clerk mentions they can't find the man's dog. And, of course, Tina immediately wonders, like, wait a minute, was it Ian who died? And did Chris have something to do with it? Immediately, the wheels are turning in Tina's head, like, what's happening? And they pull over a little later, and Tina talks to Banjo about his dad, Ian, being dead. Because she's a dog psychologist.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, no, that's what I love this.
Right. She speaks to him about it and gets out of the car, and Chris is like, is he okay? Tina's like, yeah, he took it well,
She was wondering if Banjo actually had something to do with it because she thinks the dog was abused, so that the dog purposely shuffled under Ian's feet.
Yeah.
But
that's more of a cat move.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yes.
Yes. I had a cat that would hide on the stairs and smack my feet as you walk past. I'm like, you're gonna fucking kill me if you keep doing this. I'm gonna trip, break my neck, and that's that.
But that's what weird because I always wondered that 'cause we have stairs here at the house, two different sets of stairs, and Jody fell down one time. She just slipped or the dog got under her. Something happened and. I was like, I could be blamed for that. If you got hurt, the dog. I swear the dog did it. Yeah, Nick.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Let's see your hands.
Take off those yoga pants and put your hands behind your back.
Yep, you're gonna get pegged in jail. Let's go.
Actually, leave those on those yoga pants. Smell them. But, I thought this was cool because it's a little montage. They're still continuing to travel. Andy, they're at a spot that was inhabited by monks back in the day, and they're just kind of perusing the land. They meet another couple. Who have a dog as well named Barney, and that dog, English dogs just look so cool.
They're cute dogs.
Yeah, they're cute.
I don't know what breed this was, but
I couldn't tell you.
They were adorable. Tina is just like, oh, it's love at first sight, because the dogs just stare at each other, just like you and me, Chris.
Yeah,
love at first sight. Chris and Tina walk around with this other couple a little bit. There's some graffiti. On one of the brick.
I thought that was going to come back.
He gets really mad at.
They
some
both
graffiti.
do. Yeah, graffiti in national monuments or anywhere. Just
really pissed.
It's just like
I went and saw Stonehenge in England years ago, and you used to be able to walk up and around and through the stones.
Yeah, now they don't want you to do that anymore
because people would chip pieces off. That's why. One of the reasons. I'm sure there's other reasons, but one of the reasons people would chip pieces of the stones off.
I mean, people
steal
are
it. Then you go home and say, "I have a piece of Stonehenge." It's like it's a fucking rock, man.
I don't know.
It's a rock.
It is, and I could go get a rock outside of my house right now.
And it's just as old or probably older than Stonehenge.
Hey, I got this. Yeah. Stonehenge, you motherfucker. I don't understand tagging either. Who cares if wispy dick? What a cool way to spell wispy dick, you fucking tool. Wispy. They always have weird names like rat fart or something. I mean, it's so weird.
This particular graffiti said something like Joni loves Chachi.
Joni loves Chachi. It was like, I love you. I'm gonna fucking deface fucking history. But God, maybe I am getting older. But
you are. We all are.
Their love is in the air. They later that afternoon in the caravan, they just start fucking, and he's fucking her from behind. He's filming it. He's got her
still pictures.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
He's taking snaps
of this with his camera.
Yeah.
And her face is in a bowl of potpourri. And Carol, the mom, is trying to get in touch with her through an emergency contact.
She's got like a life alert button at home, and we flash to Carol just hitting on the floor of the stair at the bottom of the stairs, tapping the button, and Tina's phone is ringing. It's me, Mom. And eventually Carol just stands up.
Yeah, she's not. I think she's faking
fine.
it, kind of.
She just stands up and like adjusts her shirt.
Yeah, and puts her sling back on.
Puts her sling on and goes about her business.
Tina's wearing the crocheted underwear. Hot.
Yep.
Speaking of, Banjo.
He walks up and licks Chris's butt.
Yeah,
and Chris is like, "Oh, this dog's a pervert."
No disrespect to, because this is in my 20s, so I'm not disrespecting anyone. That happened to me, Buka. My dog came up to me.
And you were into it.
I don't. I'm not gonna say like I didn't stop or anything. I just laughed. And this girl,
it is more funny than disgusting.
And this girl was like, "Nick, what is everything okay?" Because I'm giggling. Because Buka just comes up to me, smells the crack of my ass, and goes. It doesn't lick he licks my cheek. He doesn't lick it. And,
okay, great. That's better, I guess. Yeah.
I was like, good boy.
Yeah.
But
that's a 5 out of 10. We really get personal here.
Okay, well, I don't have anything to hide from anyone.
No, that's good. Hope you never run for office or anything, sir.
I don't. No, believe me. I'm not planning on that.
Yeah.
This is just, and Chris is kind of disgusted. Of course, he puts nerd. He puts the dog back, in the car because they're in the caravan, and so they continue getting on with that party. So this is after the sex, Andy.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
Tina's looking at the pictures on the camera.
Thank you. Yeah,
she's scrolling through the pictures on the digital camera.
She wants to see that her ace.
And she's like, "Chris, some of these are really saucy," because she knew he was taking pictures. But eventually she goes, "This is not my vagina."
Yeah.
And continues to scroll and realizes there are pictures of Ian and Janice on this camera. He stole their camera.
Yeah, he stole Ian's camera. So she's like,
and
"Are you shagging?
Did you shag them?
Are you shagging Janice? Are you gay?
Are you gay?" Like Tina's brain just spirals out here.
She did really this character. I thought.
Yeah.
I like yes.
And then she stumbles upon some pictures of Chris in the red coat that he was wearing the day that Ian was murdered. And she just is like, "What's all this?" And she goes, "Did you murder Ian?" And Chris just goes, "Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I did.
I did it for you.
I did it for you." Because she just starts crying. Goes, "You can't do things like that.
You can't do that. It'll ruin the holiday.
It'll ruin our holiday."
Yeah. So Chris is kind of like, "Well, fuck. I thought she was going to be my ride or die." So he does get mad. He takes off to the pub.
Yep.
Where the old guy that the couple Richard, I got his name.
Yeah.
They decide to have a few pints together, but on the news, I think this purpose is to show that in the pub, on the news is showing that gentleman that died in the Leeds, suicide, had financial troubles, probably in his life. So kind of like a
famous author Ian blah 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 just died, and they think he committed suicide because of financial trouble. So, Tina sets a table for two. She calls him on his cell phone, wonders where he is. Later that night, Richard drives him back because
it's a little wasted.
Chris is wasted. And the next day they have to hike to get the car. So they're hiking all the way back to the pub to get their car.
Yeah, that was a good call, Andy, because I was like, I just thought they were exploring, but it was the idea
with the car.
They had, because he took off in it. And so they're as they're hiking back to get the car, of course, Poppy, the dog, has to do what dogs do and has to take a shit.
At this point in the movie, Tina is no longer calling him Banjo. She's calling him Poppy.
Yes, good call.
Which is a little strange, but she's essentially adopted this dog as her mom's dead dog. You know? So he's not Banjo, it's Poppy. He stops to take a poop. Well, she doesn't have any bags or anything to pick it up. That shit's all in the car.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's another some rich fuck self-righteous dude
some
who
dude
walks
that
up and is
drinks
like,
IPAs.
You're gonna have to pick that up, I don't know why I'm imitating that guy in an American accent, but he's English too. You gotta pick that up. And he gets all up in Tina's face about it. Like, you gotta pick up after your dog. You're out here with your dog. How come you don't have the materials to clean up after it? And she's like, it's in the car. We don't have the car. And
she's starting to get really flustered. You're right, Andy. So she calls over Chris, and Chris is like, hey, what the fuck? Looks right in Tina's face and goes, did he swear at you? And she kind of looks at him and goes, yes, he did. Did he touch you? No. And then it's like she kind of
like, think about it.
Think about it.
Did he touch you?
And she's like, well, yeah, he did touch me. He said awful things. He said he wanted to put Poppy's balls in his mouth.
And then Yeah, she goes raw off the rails.
Yeah.
She says, yeah, he touched me. He wanted to put Poppy's balls in his mouth. He said he wanted me to shit in my hand and shit in my underpants. Oh, that's later?
That's later.
Oh, that's gross. Anyway, Chris gets up in the guy's face. The guy just turns around and says, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to tell the park rangers, whatever. Fuck you. Get away. Get out of my face. Chris starts following him and he's like harassing him. And then just clocks him in the back of the head with his walking stick.
Yeah, I mean.
And then beats him to death. Oh, I wanted to look up the poem.
Oh.
Because as Chris is beating this man to death, the sound, it's not a song. There's a poem that someone reads out loud. Fuck, I meant to.
We can come back to it. It wasn't. What I was interested in is that
I thought it was awesome.
It was really cool that Tina's kind of into it. She's watching him kill him and bash his head in. And then he's kind of like, are you going to tell? She's like, well, no. But we got to cover our tracks. So they pull his pants down, the guy that they killed, to kind of, I guess, to exploit the notion of a sex crime. Maybe like a sexual pervert, a sexual predator that's on the loose. So
like this man was anally raped and left for dead out in this field.
Yes. I mean,
maybe Chris stuck the walking stick up his butt to make it look like a sodomy job.
Yeah, or covered it with feces.
Could be. Both.
Tina's intrigued. Again, she's intrigued by the murder, and she's kind of cool with it because he was a bad person. That's how, Chris kind of explains it to her. Like, hey, you're, like this, you have to use these feelings to, Tina's like, cool with it, but then expresses to Chris, use these emotions that you have.
Take out your notebook right now.
Yeah. I'm using you.
Chris also explains, like, what I did just now is justified. 300 years ago, if that guy wanted to rape you, I would have had to just stand back and watch because he would have been like a nobleman and I'm like some lowly peasant.
Yeah.
And Tina's like, well, I suppose if you put it that way, it's okay that you bash his brains in.
Thank you so much for looking out for me.
You're defending my honor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So they're back on the road. It's a montage of fun.
Right.
The only thing I really got out of this montage is that I like it when Chris says, I just want to be feared and respected.
Yeah.
It's the only really thing that came to my head during this montage,
Office?
Andy.
Is it the Office quote?
What?
No. Oh, would you rather be feared or loved? Michael Scott?
Oh, no.
I want people to love me so much they're afraid. Or something like that.
Yeah. I love The Office, but I don't remember that.
Oh, he said, would you rather be feared or loved? Easy, both. I want people to be afraid of how much they love me.
But I just thought it was interesting that he kind of said, like, he wanted to be, because he wants to be respected, but he wants to be feared. I kind of see that this is the pathway that they're going down.
Yeah.
And they get news reports of that dude that Chris killed, the one in the leads, or the one that, was probably wearing North Face and, likes to talk about IPAs.
Yep.
They believe the news is reporting that it's a sexual serial killer.
Yep.
Roaming the streets or the
countryside,
the countryside leads. So they covered it up perfectly.
Yep.
And the montage continues.
Chris in his notebook, having a great time.
Yeah, he's writing, like he's really fucking writing some shit. His journaling is coming on point. They're at a nightclub, the English nightclub. They're dancing around dartboards. They're drinking. They're partying. They're kiss. To me, this is what's funny, Andy, is like this, this is like the third montage. I'm like, it's supposed to be a week's vacation. I feel like I'm a month in, but, I'm just kind of
they're making the most of every day, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what you should do. So, anyway, the next up, Andy, their plan is to get dressed up and go have a nice dinner.
Yeah.
Currently where they're staying.
Yeah, in a restaurant nearby.
Yeah, and he's got a coupon.
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 Right, at one point, like, when they're getting ready, like some kids accidentally hit the camper with a soccer ball, and Chris comes out and he's like, hey, he's got rage issues, obviously, but he picks up the soccer ball and gives it back to the kids and he's mad.
Yeah.
And before really anything else can happen, there's some dude rolls up on a bicycle with like this pod sleeper thing pulling behind him.
It looks like a plastic tube that you could crawl into.
And Chris is intrigued, and it strikes up a conversation with him, and this guy's name's Martin.
Yep, Marty,
and Martin says it's a prototype. I call it the Carapod, like caravan pod.
Yep.
And they start broing out over it. They like really hit it off. They really like this prototype thing. Chris must think it's a good business venture, blah blah blah.
Yeah, because he's looking at it like he's crawling in it. There's a little window in it.
So you put all your stuff down by your feet.
He's like, because it'd be great touring. I mean, I've seen stuff like this on motorcycles.
Yep.
It's like little little camper that you could
sleeper one.
Exactly. Like I mean, they have them all over. Just where you.
Tina says it looks like an alien's coffin.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was like there's some good writing in here. I think
it's kind of funny.
But she's also Andy getting a little perturbed at Chris because she's ready to go on the date. And
let's get going.
Yeah, let's go fucking party.
Yeah.
And so Chris kind of looks at him and says, "Yo, mate, I gotta go, but you want to have a beer later?"
Have a beer later?
He's like, "I'm not really a beer drinker,
but I will smoke that weedy weed.
I like the weedy weed,
as
they call in England, the."
I don't know.
God, man, I'm off today.
The Queen's lettuce.
The Queen's vagina. The Queen's lettuce.
R.I.P. Yeah, the devil's lettuce, but in England it's the Queen's lettuce.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
I don't know, or the king's lettuce.
Or they call it Big Ben.
Good health to the king, by the way.
Oh yeah.
His cancer diagnosis.
Oh yeah. I
mean, it's the royal family. You don't wish it on anybody. But
I don't wish cancer on anybody, but I don't think
Good luck, guys.
I'd much rather cheer someone that really matters instead of that fucking tool. Anyway, later at the restaurant, things are getting. They're sitting down at the table, but Andy, it's weird at this restaurant. There's a bachelorette party going on.
A loud, raucous bachelorette party right in this like family restaurant.
It does, yeah. It's like at a fucking Golden Corral.
It looked like an Applebee's or a Chili's or something. Baby back ribs, yeah. And there's a table full of women in pink with a veil. It's a bachelorette party.
Yeah, ladies, where do you guys want to go for fucking Linda's bachelorette party? Yeah. Applebee's is calling, motherfucker.
Half price apps at 11.
Yeah. Dollar Long Island's, bitches.
There you go.
So they're
let's get Crapplebee's.
It doesn't seem to bother the other patrons at this British Applebee's. I think in England they call it Crab Applebee's.
Right. Crab apple. Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Don't they have?
Huh?
Crab apples. I don't know.
Think so. Well, they talk. There's a cool piece of dialogue here because Tina talks about how she understands him. She gets where he's coming from with all this. And Chris said something like, "How romantic would that be if we just went off and died together?" How romantic would that be, right, Nick? How romantic would it be if you and I just Thelma and Louise did?
We might tonight.
Off a cliff.
We might tonight. After we watch Cheap Trick.
Jesus.
Let's just hope we get home safe. I thought it was also interesting, too, Andy, that they decided, maybe because of all the noise and the party atmosphere, they decided to get fucking drunk, too. They do.
They also discuss how by Chris killing people, he's reducing the carbon footprint.
Yes.
So murder is green.
It's
good
green,
for the environment.
Yes.
Which I thought that was pretty funny. Did you know Genghis Khan is responsible for so many murders that he actually lowered the carbon footprint of Earth?
No way.
That's not fake fact news. It's like something that science can show. Like the population back then was, the carbon footprint of humans was this.
How did he?
So many people that the Mongols killed. It like reduced the greenhouse gas.
Would he just kill would he kill mothers, kids?
Indiscriminately, just murder. And, of course, rape and more murder. But I think he was responsible for a lot of death.
This is not just Slash U, folks. This is Science U.
Yeah, I'd probably look up sources on that. But I've heard it multiple times from multiple places that he just murdered a lot of people.
You sound like not only a cinephile, but a real professor now. That's fucking rad.
But just to take that much of a reduction in the population of Earth. Now, there probably wasn't even near 1 billion people on the planet at that time. There's probably a couple 100 million, but you got to kill a lot to make it down.
I'm going to, man, after this.
Yeah, we should check it out.
Yeah, I will.
Anyway, murder is green.
Murder is green. So
they definitely get swasted.
They definitely get swasted. And Tina seems to be getting a little sick and a little upset stomach. So she goes to the bathroom, but quick cut, when she comes back, she doesn't like what she sees.
Right.
The bachelorette, the maid, the one who is getting celebrated, she is on top of Chris, straddling him, kissing him,
making out.
But it's a bit. It's like you have to kiss for 10 seconds. 1, 2. So
the rest of the girls are counting down. Yeah.
But even after they say 0, she leans back in for some more tongue.
And Chris is like, no.
No, he does it, but he looks at her and goes, "It's just a bit." But then he can see that Tina's not buying it, and so he's like, "Get off, mate," and
go back to your fish and chips.
Go back to your fish and chips and your big bean.
Right.
Tina looks at the bachelorette and goes, "Hey, what would your fiance thinks of this?" And she's like, "Hey, love it. Want to join us later for some sex?"
Yeah.
And, Tina's like, whatever.
I'm going to go pay the bill.
Yeah, I'm going to go
Chris
pay the bill.
gets up like, well, I'll pay. She's like, no, you
stay
sit.
here. Yeah.
Like he's a dog. She's like, you sit, you stay.
Yeah.
She's mad at him.
She's very pissed. She notices that the Bachelorette is going to step outside and have a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tina
follows. Mm-hmm. And she crosses the road and, like, I guess, it's a roadway, but I guess there's a drop off and she's just smoking
like an
there.
overpass over there.
Overpass, yeah. And she's kind of, enjoying her cigarette. Tina walks up on her.
And they flash back to Chris, and there's like a cop walking in to the restaurant, and Chris kind of freaks for a second. He's like, shit, a police officer, but it turns out it's a male stripper.
In an Applebee's.
Here in the Family Chili's, the restaurant, yeah.
You're trying to sit there and fucking get like dollar apps. And
starts stripping for the rest of the women.
And there's dude butt in your face.
Cut back to Tina as she pushes the Bachelorette off of the overpass.
Just grabs her by the back of the fucking head and flips her.
Flips her over.
Like flips her over, dude, violently.
Season of the Witch again.
Yeah.
A different cover of the same song. I thought, must be the season of the witch. So Chris exits the restaurant and they leave, and he turns to Tina and he just says, I would never do that. I think he meant cheat on her, right?
Yes.
I would never push a girl off a bridge. I would never do that. And as they drive away, the other Bachelorette's friends are all yelling for her.
Yeah, Charlotte, I think her name's like, where are you at?
Can't find her.
But does Chris, because this is where I wrote, does he know what's up? Because they're dipping out. He sees that everyone's looking for her.
Yeah.
And he's kind of peering over at Tina.
He might kind suspect something.
That's what I'm thinking, because that night he has a weird dream, and I just wrote, what did you make of this, Andy? I didn't really.
Nothing.
Second watch. It's just a weird dream where. It's just a dream. And
yeah,
so
Tina's like a vampire or something. Yeah. And he snaps awake. And
so it's the next day, and
Tina can't find her necklace.
Yeah.
I'm sure that chick grabbed
it on her way over.
On her way over, yeah.
She's ready for the pencil museum.
Let's go to the pencil museum.
I fucking think that'd be rad.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. The history of pencils.
Take an edible and go and fucking go check out pencils.
Dude, that one's huge. Yeah. So... But Chris wants to stay and bro out with his friend Martin.
Marty, they want to talk about the bike contraption, smoke a little weed.
Yeah, and play with the carapod.
So they send Tina to go off on her own. So she's at the Pencil Museum by herself. Another montage, Andy, of her just walking the Pencil Museum, looking sad, rather lonely, if you will.
Chris and Martin are goofing around, getting high and playing with
stuff.
Playing with the carapod.
Yeah, they're just being dudes. They're just being dudes, just having fun, like playing around with the carapod, being, like I said, dude soup. Tina does call her mom and tell her that Chris is having her do things that she's not used to doing.
Ooh, and her mom's like sex stuff?
Yeah, like anal.
Well, Carol goes like, did he see you do number twos?
Yeah. What is up with they do a lot of shit.
A lot of poop reference in this
movie.
They
show it up close with a dog and they bring it up. Like, does he want to watch you poop? And
fecalphilia.
Gross.
But it was just hilarious how Tina says, no, no.
She's close to telling her, I think.
Carol just said, you close to telling her, yeah, I've murdered people.
Yes.
But
I feel like she's about to say, like, I'm doing bad things. Like
Carol says something like, mystery is a woman's
yes. The
sanctuary.
Mom, yes.
Yeah, Carol says, mystery, Tina, is a woman's sanctuary. Now, I'm busy. I have a lot of stuff to do. She's just laying in bed, staring.
Leaves.
Hangs up the phone.
Yeah, so Tina is alone again. So later that night, Martin is sleeping in his pod with Poppy. I don't understand this either. Like, he's the dog.
And Tina is in the camper with Chris and says, Poppy's with the babysitter.
I think that's initially why they want to do it, because he's going to lick Chris's ass, so Chris doesn't want his ass licked.
He's not here. He's not, prude.
Yeah.
He's not here. He's with the babysitter.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to...
Have sex with me, Chris.
Yeah, she starts even talking like... He's like, I'm mad at you. You killed that girl. I know you did. She was going to get married. What the hell? She's like, well, punish me then with your cock. I would... boing, 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 boing. I mean, that was hot.
And he's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why that fucking was hot for me, but she was like, punish... Because she's... And those crocheted lingerie was so rad.
Well, he says that she's not qualified... And it was wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, if anyone's going to do the killing around here, it's me, the man.
Yeah, it was the way it should be.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
The man should do the killing.
Seriously,
Well,
fucking hear about all these women murderers and stuff. God damn, it's a man's job.
Hey, listen, I'm all for equality here. And if women are just as good at killing as men, they just do it slower. Hey!
God, we're going to hell. Just kidding. I love
my wife, and
I love the axe murderer that did it back in the day. She was rad. And
right. So Tina rolls over and ends up touching herself, and she says to Chris, "I'm finishing what you started," because she's all hot.
I know, and
she's all hot and bothered.
I mean, that's like so rad to me personally. I'm sorry if I'm giving away too much information, but
you are.
If someone, well, I don't care.
It's all right.
If someone,
you're an open book, sir.
If someone starts playing with themselves, guy or girl, I'm gonna turn around and watch.
Okay. Well, it's the next morning. Chris wakes up, and Tina is driving the camper. As Chris wakes up in bed, like, what the fuck's going on? We're moving? Because shit starts falling off the shelves and things.
Yeah.
And he quick picks his phone up and calls Tina, and he's just like, pull over. And she's like, oh, good morning, Chris.
Yeah, she's kind of, loopy.
She's a little angry, and he's like, pull over right now. And she ends up pulling off the side of the road and hitting a jogger and killing him.
Purposely.
Right there. He's jogging on the side of the road.
Yeah, she just, and it
crushes him.
Instantly kills him.
My dick shot kill of the week right there.
Hey, there you go. I really didn't have one. I thought that the kill, they showed a quick, like, I guess the bride's, the bachelorette, I thought that was pretty cool because just how she flips over and flips her hair. But
Tina just indiscriminately, this poor dude is just out for a morning jog. And Chris flips.
Yeah, he has to clean up the mess.
Like, I need structure, Tina. He's like, I the people I've killed, it's been for a reason. Like, they deserved it, or they did this or that
the Dexter,
wrong.
Yeah, the Dexter approach.
The litterer, the guy who littered deserves to die.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
He does.
Right. Who are you, the judge, jury, and executioner?
Me? Because you shouldn't fucking litter.
Why don't you turn him into the police and they can find him?
What's the police gonna do?
I don't know. They're not gonna kill him.
You're not gonna
get an electric
someone
chair.
that really takes the time out of their day to litter does not deserve to be
purposely litter, like walk past a trash can and throw it on the ground instead. I think they deserve a punch in the face. But I don't know about death.
Maybe to meet someone named, goes by the name Big Ol' Petey the Peg. You gotta spend 1 hour.
You deserve to be pegged. So Chris is flipping out on Tina, like, you can't just kill. And she goes like, maybe that's my style. Maybe that's how I do it. Like, I'm just whatever, kill whoever. They're yelling at each other while they're cleaning up and hiding this body of this poor jogger.
But and as they're doing this, and as they're cleaning up, there's no cars going by while they're taking care of all this.
Thank goodness, yeah.
But they do hear on the news, on the radio news, that they don't think that Bachelorette wasn't an accident. They think it was intentional homicide.
The death.
They're looking for a ginger and a pasty-faced woman.
A ginger-faced man and an angry, pasty white woman.
Yeah. So they, Andy, the travel continues after they clean up the mess. They head up way into the hills, the mountains. It looks like
way up.
Yeah, way up. I mean, among the clouds, where they set up camp. They're not really talking, Andy. They sit quietly amongst themselves. They're waiting for Chris, Andy, I guess.
Waiting for
Martin to come up, and he's supposed to show up with a dog. He's got the dog, and
Chris looks ahead down their route in his binoculars.
Yeah,
he sees like that big bridge, and he calls it Journey's End. There it is, Journey's End. And the weather gets bad. They go inside, and Chris takes a nap. Tina looks through his notebook, and she finds a drawing of them standing on that bridge, and there's a heart.
Yep.
And then Martin rolls up with his carapod, and Poppy, or Banjo, is in the back. And Tina's like, there you are. Like, did she not remember that the dog was with Martin? It was very strange.
No,
she acted surprised.
I always say that to my dog. Oh. There he is.
It was weird. So,
I mean, I didn't... What kind of got me was that the uncomfortable situation that Martin walks into.
So the three of them sit and have a glass of wine, and the boys talk business about the carapod. Martin talking about how there's a man in Spain who wants to invest, and Chris calls it Carapod International. Like, cheers. Yeah, like fucking, what's the Prestige Worldwide from Step Brothers. So Tina's not happy about any of this. She thinks it's lame and dumb. Chris is like, I gotta go take a piss, and he steps out.
Yes, this is great.
And Tina grabs Martin's leg and like leans in.
And goes, kiss me. Like,
kiss
I want
me, Do you know what it's like to be a woman?
Yeah,
it's not that bad.
Chris is domineering. Like, I just want you to get with me. Right. But Chris comes back in. Tina turns the tables. She's like, Chris, while you were gone, Martin said some filthy things. Said I was I think he said I was a slutty bitch.
Yep.
And he wanted to fuck me, and he wanted to shit in my mouth and shit in my underwear, and then he wanted me to use that shit as brown lipstick.
Yeah, and Chris is like, well, if that's true, I guess I wouldn't have a problem with it because Chris knows she's lying.
Yeah. Yeah, because he knows Martin.
Right. And Martin's just like, well, I'm going to go to bed.
This is crazy.
And
the
he
next 5 minutes
himself and goes to bed.
Real quick, sorry to interrupt. This is the last 5 minutes of the movie,
Yeah.
friends, and this is really intense. So go ahead, brother.
Chris, as soon as Martin leaves, Chris gets mad. Like, what are you doing? Why are you acting like this? Like, he's my friend, and we're gonna go into business together. Like, you've got the damn dog. And she's like, don't talk about Poppy that way. And he's like, stop calling him Poppy. His name's Banjo. You're gonna give him a complex. And she's like, how can I give him a complex? He's a stupid dog. You know, it's like, whoa. They're freaking out. And Tina ends up just storming outside.
Yes.
Grabbing Martin's Carapod thing,
unlatching
and
it from the bike,
releasing the brake or whatever,
from the bike,
and just rolling it off a cliff. And he falls down into a ravine and crashes and dies.
Dead.
And she goes back inside and goes, well, that solves that problem.
Unbelievable.
She just kills him. And Chris, of course, is upset. He's like, you're a liability, just like your mother. And then Tina punches him because there's one thing you don't do is ever call a woman her mom.
Yes.
She will get very upset. And ball punches him. And they fight a little bit, but then they ultimately end up really hot for each other.
Yeah, I guess it's a turn on.
And they make up.
So they dip out of the camper, torch it,
throw gasoline all over it, light it up on fire.
Light it up on fire. They're on the top of this mountain. I mean, they're up in the clouds.
They're so in love with each other.
Yeah. So this is
the music sings about the power of love, a force from above, cleaning my soul.
Yes, it's a montage like, girl, I want to touch your boobs, and I know that our minds are meant to be together.
Yeah.
They get to that bridge that Tina saw in
the distance and in his notebook.
Yeah. And so this is where they're going to. And right away, I mean, even when I saw the picture, I knew, like, that's them ending their lives together.
Yeah.
So they go to the top of the bridge.
They're laughing and running around. And
But, I mean, they finally get to the bridge, and they're looking at it. They're screaming. They're in love.
I knew they were going to jump when she, like, sort of unleashes Banjo. She takes his leash off and, like, sends him away. Banjo's off on his own. Yeah. They jump up on the ledge of this bridge, and Chris looks at her. Have you had a nice holiday?
Yeah. And on the count of 3, we do it, okay?
Are you sure this is what you want?
Yeah.
And Tina's like, yeah.
Yes, fish and chips. And so they go 3, 2, 1. They both step off. Chris steps off. Fucking Tina
lets go of his hand.
Oh my God!
And he falls all the way down to his thump dead. And she just looks down at him.
Yep.
Black. Roll credits.
Tainted love.
Tainted love.
That's where I said this could be a sequel.
Oh, so now she's...
Like, somehow she could get picked up like a hitchhiker.
And she could totally be like, he was crazy. He did all those murders. I was afraid. I thought, he was basically holding me hostage. She could because we know she can make up wild stories.
Yes. But do British really do sequels? I mean, I feel like it's an American thing.
Yeah, probably right. Because we like to try to make money off them.
Or remake stupid shit.
We try to, like, squeeze that fucking turnip till all the blood is gone.
Hey, so on a scale of 4 puppy kisses to 10 puppy kisses, covered in semen. No, I'm just kidding. On a scale of 4 puppy kisses to 10 puppy kisses, what would you give this one?
Oh man, this is a solid 7.
I would almost. This is the first time I think I might even go a little higher than you.
Yeah,
I might go 8 puppy kisses.
I just thought there was a little. Thank you. A little too much. Montagey,
Yeah, but I mean, it would.
It's an hour 28.
Yeah, but
probably could have been an hour 10.
But I mean, an hour 20. I mean, I know what you're saying, but I'm a fan. Like, that didn't bother me because it tells the story faster for me.
That's true. I don't really need a breakneck pace, so having the movie go a little bit slow was all right. But 7, 7.5, 8, maybe. It's not bad.
Puppy kisses. I don't think we really need to cover this even. I don't really. I don't think we really need to get into any. I mean, the kill count's rather simple, isn't it?
It's easy. Do we know what we're doing next?
No, but I can do the music when we do the kill count since it's not many.
Have it right here.
Oh.
All right. Do you want to take a break? Do the kill count now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. So we have Litter Guy at the beginning of the movie. Followed by the flashback. A year ago, we saw Poppy, the dog, get killed.
There you go. Good call. Yeah.
Back in the present, Chris murdered Ian out on the moors in the leads, the field.
The leads.
And then 3 chickens got killed by those shaman in the I almost said in the restaurant, in the campground. 3 chickens. Followed by, I called him Countryside Guy. He was the guy that was telling him to pick up the dog poop out in the countryside. Chris beat his ass to death. Then the Bachelorette from the Bachelorette party. That was Tina's first kill. And then when Chris said, pull this fucking thing over, and she just mowed down a jogger. That poor jogger got killed. And then Tina killed Martin in his carapod, wheeled him right off a cliff.
Carapod.
And then at the end of the movie, Chris just walked off the bridge and fell to his death. So you count those 3 chickens, that's 11. 11 deaths. 11
wow, you
kills.
gotta count the chicken where you cut the head off a chicken.
Choke those chickens.
Cut the head off the chicken. Hey, it was so funny.
Sightseers.
Sightseers, you know, puppy kisses, get what you want out of it. I'm stoked to get out of it. I also got to admit, too, man, I haven't, just because of Murder Cabin and just because of the podcast, the friends over at Macabre want a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't give it to them.
Yeah.
So, you know, it wasn't like parting ways. It was just until next time.
Sure.
Because
you're suspending your campaign.
So, well, I mean, I don't want to commit to something. These guys are great. They put their
I like Macabre Daily.
Yeah, and I just wanted to be. I just didn't think it was fair to do to them, and
yeah.
So hopefully I could get in, like, do some guest stuff. But my focus right now is getting Murder Cabin filmed, produced. Like, I'm going to do this. Now that I've gotten this clarity of no booze, like, I'm fucking focused. So, hey, so while you were reading that, Andy, I went ahead and said, hey, you know, we fucking should do it. It's a brilliant fucking movie. Yeah. 2011, 1 hour 33 minutes.
Laid to Rest 2.
Chrome Skull, laid to Rest 2. Brian Austin Green's in this motherfucker. You know we got to do it.
Yeah. I kind of knew we were just going to do the sequel.
That girl from, you said, like, you even brought up Adam Green's girl, Danielle Harris.
Oh, from Hatchet.
Yeah, Thomas Decker's back in this one, too. You remember? Because he has to be, at least. I was wondering, is our girl, it doesn't look like the girl who played...
The girl
is in this one.
I don't think she is, so...
Jonathan Sachich, he's back in it.
Yep.
But this looks really rad. I'm just kind of curious. I mean,
It's, the sequel to 2009 hit, Laid to Rest. It brings back Chrome Skull, who barely escaped death in the first movie, and is hell-bent on continuing where he left off and forging a new path of terror and destruction. How the fuck could he be alive?
After his face melted.
Given what we saw
face melted.
at the end of Laid to Rest. Ugh. It was disgusting. So
this one, I think, actually you see boobs in this one. You saw boobs in the other one, but you get to see corpse. But I love it. I'm excited for this one, because the gore was so great in this one. Like, so, what a fun path we're on. I can't wait to continue to bust out some of these great films as we continue to move on. Andy and I, just for the record, I want to say this live, going to our AHL hockey team. They're the minor league team for the Nashville Predators, Milwaukee Admirals. They're going for a franchise record tonight, folks. 14 wins in a row. And after they win their 14th win, we get to stay around because Cheap Trick is taking the ice. I want you to want me.
I was looking for...
Police, come get out of my head.
I was looking for... Damn.
They also did the volleyball scene in Top Gun. I forgot the name of them.
I was looking for the poem that when in the movie here, when Chris was smacked that guy in the head in the field after the dog poop argument and was beating him to death, the voiceover was a really cool poem.
Well, well, stay tuned for Chrome Skull 2, Laid to Rest 2.
Nice.
I just had to get that out. Sorry.
Right.
These non-alcoholic beers just fill me up with that good stuff, if you know what I mean. So, hey, I think I'm done.
Yeah,
let's go watch some hockey.
We haven't plugged ourselves in a while.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't pegged ourselves in a while. /u _podcast on Instagram, /u podcast on the Gmails, or I'm sorry, on Facebook, and /u podcast at gmail.com if you want to email us. Website's a slow burn, but it's going. And thanks to zapsplat.com for our sound effects. I don't know. It's episode 135, Tell your friends, rate and review. Give us a thumbs up wherever you can.
And lastly, fish and chips.
Fish and chips, yo. So thanks for everything, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time with Chrome Skull, Laid to Rest 2.
Yes.
Class dismissed.